Well, we finally got a response. Jasmine Crockett finally broke her silence about her bodyguard being a convicted felon. And this statement is completely wild, but of course it's coming from Jasmine Crockett. So we're going to read it and we're going to react to it. Let's get into it. So let's read a tweet. Now, this is 19 hours ago. I guess I don't follow Jasmine Crockett. I should have had the notifications on. If you want to follow this type of content from me, please subscribe and hit the notifications so you're not 19 hours behind like I am. But here she says, as a former public defender, I've always believed people are more than just the worst thing they ever done. I believe in redemption. The man we knew showed up with respect, care, and commitment to protecting others. We're still learning the full story, but today we mourn a life lost. This is a tragic ending that we wished had been avoided for all. Well, once someone did any background check, he wouldn't have been hired, maybe this wouldn't happen. But let's continue. Right off the bat, and she's setting the emotional tone before you can think critically. That's intentional. She is a lawyer. She wants you to feel before you think. Nobody is against redemption, but redemption means you own your past honestly. Mr. Robinson didn't do that. He lied about his name. He created aliases, fake names. He stole license plates. He impersonated a Capitol Police detective. That's not redemption. He had a continued criminal enterprise under a new identity. And notice when she said the man we knew. She is creating distance from the real person. The man they knew was Mike King. The alias, the man they didn't know because no one ever checked, was Mr. Robinson, a convicted felon with 7 arrests. She also says that we're still learning the full story. Well, CBS News Texas learned the whole story in about 48 hours. They pulled his criminal record, they found the fake businesses, they found the stolen license plates. If a news crew can figure this out in 2 days, your team should have figured this out long before you put this man in your security detail. Period. So I'm gonna blow up the statement so you guys can actually see it, because I'm sure you can't see it. It's kind of small here, but let's continue. By now, Dallas police have been able to confirm the death of the member of our security team. We waited for confirmation from local law enforcement and continue to learn details of how this happened. Notice the framing. A member of our security team, not the lead guy, not the man standing right next to her in every photo at campaign events, not her primary bodyguard, just a member. She's making it seem like his role was very small. But the images that we've seen tell a whole different story. The man was right next to her at events, on the trail in DC. He wasn't a member. He was the guy. Then the statement says, we waited for confirmation from local law enforcement. Her staff told CBS News Texas days ago that they were waiting for more information before answering any questions. That wasn't caution, they were scrambling. No one checked this man's identity. And we continue to learn the details about how this happened. You want to know how this happened? You hire somebody without running a background check, or you knew this man's previous crimes. This man that had 7 arrests in Dallas County using a fake name. He walked into your operation. That's how. You don't need to learn details. You need to own them. We are saddened and shocked by some of the concerning revelations. Our team followed all protocols outlined by the House to contract additional security. We were approved to use this vendor, who also provided security services for additional entities in the local community, and worked closely with law enforcement agencies, including Capitol Police. So now here's the pivot you can see from the mourning to defense mode. She says our team followed all protocols outlined by the House. She's transferring the blame. She's saying, don't look at me, look at the system. But the House doesn't vet your private security hires at the individual level. Members of Congress hire their own contractors, which means you picked this man, you paid this man. The House didn't assign this man to your detail, you did. Then she says this vendor worked closely with law enforcement agencies, including the Capitol Police. Hold on. So this is the same claim Robinson was making. He told the officers that he was a Capitol Police detective. That lie triggered the federal investigation. So you're using his fraudulent credentials as evidence that your vetting was solid? Do you hear yourself when you wrote this? Or whoever decided to write this for you? Did anyone read this back? And they're saddened and shocked by some of the concerning revelations? Some? Which ones aren't concerning? The 7 felony arrests, the stolen plates, the fake police vehicles, the federal warrant? Help us understand which revelations you're fine with, because every single one of them, in my opinion, I think a lot of others, every single one of them is a problem. The fact that the individual was able to somehow circumvent the vetting processes for something as sensitive as security for the members of Congress highlights the loopholes and shortcomings in many of our systems. This is incredibly alarming, especially for those members who receive high volumes of credible and sophisticated death threats. This situation reiterates the need for Capitol Police to provide security for members of Congress, especially under this administration's new normal of inciting attacks for those who dare to speak out. And there it is. She found a way to make her bodyguard being a convicted felon all about Donald Trump. Gold medal in political gymnastics. Well, not really. She's no longer a politician. She got booted out. Maybe this is the reason why she is no longer going to represent anybody in a few months. This highlights the loopholes and shortcomings in many of our systems. No, this highlights the loopholes in your operation. Is there any other members of Congress hiring security that are basically wanted felons? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think this is a systematic issue. This is a Jasmine Crockett issue. Then she pivots to this administration's new normal about inciting attacks on those who dare to speak out. Ma'am, we're talking about your bodyguard having 7 arrests and a fake identity. How did we get to Trump? Besides, she knows her base rallies around this type of thing, being framed as being the resistance. She's turning a scandal into a political talking point. A man died, and a call for Capitol Police to provide security? Well, that's convenient because the Capitol Police handled her security. She would have needed a private contractor. She wouldn't have needed to vet anyone. She's basically arguing that the government should have protected her from her own bad hiring decisions. That's completely wild. We are fortunate that this is someone who used the loopholes without malice. What? Furthermore, after initial review of the limited criminal history of Mr. Robinson in the Dallas County, we were unable to locate any violent offenses. She called his criminal history limited. The man was arrested 7 times, felony charges, and pled guilty to every single count. Probation sentences up to 10 years, a federal investigation for impersonating a law enforcement officer, stolen license plates from military vehicles, a fake police vehicle using multiple fake names, and she calls all that limited. Then she says we were unable to locate any violent offenses. I mean, the last one's pretty violent. I mean, what do you call pulling a gun on a Dallas SWAT team officers? Because that's what actually happened. He barricaded himself at a children's hospital, came out and pointed a gun at officers. Is that violent? Then she also says that he used loopholes without malice. Without malice? When you steal license plates, when you impersonate a fellow officer, when you create fake names, and you're running a fraudulent business, deceiving real police officers into thinking that he was one of them, every single action requires deliberate deception. That is malice. What she's really trying to say is, well, at least he didn't hurt me. She's not saying he wasn't dangerous. She's saying that she got lucky. But what happened to the next member of Congress? They may not be as lucky as you. With that being said, we are praying for the friends and family of the man that we knew as Mike King. Mike has been in and out of our team for years. There was never any reason to suspect that he wasn't who he held himself out to be. He never endangered our team, worked diligently, coordinated with local law enforcement, and maintained positive relationships throughout the community. Mike always conducted himself respectfully and with care for those around him. As a former public defender, the Congresswoman, that don't seem like that's written correctly. Let me read again. As a former public defender, this Congresswoman has always believed that the people have an immense capacity for redemption and deserves second chances. I'm not going to crap on them on that grammar. But the problem is with this statement is that she's giving a character reference for a man that she had just admitted she didn't know. Or she did know him and she's playing around. But let's just say for this video that she did not know this man's criminal past. She's right there admitting that she didn't know who this man really was. How can you vouch for someone's character when you don't know their real name? And she writes in a statement, there was never a reason to suspect who he held himself out to be. A private security operator claiming to be a Capitol Police detective, running an off-duty police placement business with no verifiable law enforcement background. And nobody checked. And apparently in years. And being a public offender means that you should understand criminal records. You understand ID verification. It actually makes this worse. Jasmine Crockett, of all people, should have known to check your background of the people that you hire. And that second chances argument, again, nobody is against second chances, but the second chance means you need to come correct. You need to use your real name. You need to disclose your past. What Robinson did wasn't a second chance. It was a con. She got conned. That's not his redemption story. That's her accountability story. What we're learning now about his past doesn't fit the person we came to know as Mike King. His death evokes a range of emotions. Our hearts grieve the loss of someone we knew and the lost good that it could have came from his redemption. There will be no additional statements. Interesting how that ends. She grieves the person, but then slams the door. I'm not talking anymore. No additional statements, no press conference, no reporter questions done. As if that's actually going to happen. This is a woman who built her entire brand on being outspoken. She'll go on any podcast, go and do any interview, clap back at anyone on any committee. She had something to say about everything when the cameras are rolling. And when the questions is about her own vetting, her own team, or her own judgment, no additional statements. In that last emotional play, the lost good that could have came out of his redemption. She wants you to mourn what could have been instead of examining what was. What was a convicted felon who deceived a congresswoman, deceived law enforcement, ran a fraudulent business, and died in a standoff pointing a gun at police. This entire statement is designed to make you feel bad enough to stop asking questions. And that's what we're not going to do on this channel. Think about it. Is there more to the story than she wants to admit? We will probably find out eventually. She's not going to be able to hide this for very long. Maybe they were closer than she wants to admit. That's just my initial thought, but let me know what you guys think about this statement in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So Jasmine Crockett finally broke her silence about her boyfriend being oh, sorry. That's just fucked. All right. Did I say boyfriend? I mean bodyguard. Let's start over.